You started your career journey at the age of 41. I should ask you, what mindset shift happened?
Their belief was unshakable and they pursued me for almost 2 months. And I was like, okay, let me believe in their belief if I'm not believing in myself at that moment. And that's how it was.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to DC Consultants Podcast. In this platform, we bring for you candid conversations, inspiring stories, and meaningful journeys.
Sometimes, you need somebody else to believe in you.
So, what advice you would like to give to the homemaker Sweta, to today's Sweta, who is a successful woman?
It was never an option in my journey.
Where we do some real and unfiltered conversation beyond the boardrooms and with the business leaders.
For the simple reason that people do business with people. So even if you are in a say a D2C brand, or even if you are in a B2C space, till the time you become a Tata, or till the time you become a Dabur, or till the time you become any other known brand, it is you who's driving the business, or it is you who's building the trust in the marketplace. So in my opinion, founders should invest in.
And we try our best to help the job seekers and the employer communities.
LinkedIn is the first place that they do go. Other social media channels also they look into.
She helps senior professionals to influence and become a thought leader.
If you're a job seeker, it is all the more important for you to actually have an updated profile which projects powerfully, which represents correctly and authentically.
So please join me and let's welcome Mrs. Sweta Oja. Hello everyone, welcome to DC Consultants Podcast, where we do some real and unfiltered conversation beyond the boardrooms and with the business leaders. In this platform, we bring for you candid conversations, inspiring stories, and meaningful journeys. And we try our best to help the job seekers and the employer communities. I am your host, Deepanvita Chattopadhyay, founder and CEO of DC Consultants. And our today's guest has a truly inspiring story. And the story that reminds us that success doesn't follow a fixed timeline. From redefining her own journey, she has shown that reinvention can happen at any stage of life. She helps senior professionals to influence and become a thought leader. So please join me and let's welcome Mrs. Sweta Oja. Hello Sweta, welcome to DC Consultants Podcast. So how you are doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me here.
Okay, thank you so much. It means a lot to me that you are here today. So straight away we are going ahead with the podcasting and the discussion. Okay. So Sweta, every time I think, as I know you so well since long, that you started your career journey at the age of 41. Once you told me. Yes. So I thought I should ask you, what mindset shift happened at that time when you thought that it's not late and you thought, yes, it's possible. So if you just tell me and my audience how you did that.
Sometimes, you need somebody else to believe in you. Yes. Because you don't believe in yourself. And something like that happened with me. So a friend of mine during Everest Base Camp trek possibly saw potential in me, and he and his wife persuaded me that, give yourself a chance. And their belief was unshakable and they pursued me for almost 2 months. And I was like, okay, let me believe in their belief if I'm not believing in myself at that moment. And that's how it was. So to be honest, I didn't have that question in mind whether late or whether it's possible. It was never an option in my journey. So yes, sometimes someone else has to come to you and
push
say,
you to get it, go ahead. Great. So many people I know, they always are in a dilemma and self-doubt. So have you ever felt that, like doubting yourself, when you are taking a bold decision, you felt that maybe I'm right, I'm wrong. How you overcome that kind of challenge?
To be honest, the self-doubt, I believe, is everyday basis. And I think it's with everyone. But you overcome the self-doubt only once you take action.
Yes.
There's no other way to
Mhm.
overcome self-doubt. So you overcome one self-doubt, you take one decision, then another self-doubt will come, you take another decision, and that's how, in my case, I have progressed. Um, I have always been a river person, let me tell you this.
Mhm.
So just like a river, they flow.
Yeah.
And if there's a rock in front of them, they change the way, they pave their way, or they make their way.
Yes.
So I have always been a river person, and which is where my philosophy in life is karke dekhte hain kya hi ho jayega.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
that's how I overcome my self doubt. And
Great.
it is everyday basis.
Everyday basis,
Let me
yeah.
tell you. So when I was a freelancer, uh, thinking of launching myself as a coach and consultant, again self doubt. When I had to hire my first team member, again self doubt.
Yes.
When I had to scale, again self doubt. So this will go on.
Yeah, go on. But you need to overcome.
Yes,
you need
but
to overcome.
the only way to overcome self doubt, the message to you and the audience is that the only way to overcome self doubt is take action.
Yeah.
There's no
डर के
other
आगे
way.
जीत है.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So what advice you would like to give to the homemaker Shweta, to today's Shweta, who is a successful woman? Like you told me before you started, you have not done anything. You were just homemaker. So from that point of time, if you just imagine yourself and if you imagine today, what kind of advice you would like to give? Because there are so many those who can't take the decision till now, they are in that stage only. So your message would be important for them.
To be honest, I have also spoken with a lot of homemakers after I have started this journey. And one thing in common that I believe most homemakers face is they seek validation. They don't have that innate belief in themselves that they have something to offer to the world, or they have the potential to start a entrepreneurial journey, or enter the corporate world, even if they have taken a break or they've never started. Because the whole habit of seeking validation from their family is innate in most homemakers. And the message to homemaker Shweta, to be honest, I'm still a homemaker, but to homemaker Shweta will be that don't wait for seeking validation from others to start believing in yourself. This has to come from you.
Yes.
If you believe in yourself, everybody else
Everybody, the
will
world will believe
in you eventually.
Yes, great.
So, but yes, it will not happen from the first day. It will not happen from the fifth day also. But yes, if you have that belief in yourself and you keep at it,
slowly,
everything-
steadily, one day
Yes.
you can
yes.
make out.
And now I can say for sure.
Great. Shweta, you are into personal branding, right?
Yes.
So I work with many companies. There are many founders who build their brands, but they forget to build themselves. So, just say me your thought on that. And I feel it is mandatory in today's date. So, being a personal branding expert, please let me know your thought.
I 100% agree with you that as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a founder, I have seen, and it is statistically also available, that you get so involved in building your business, you get so involved in execution, you get so involved in building your team, systems, processes, but you forget that the person behind this business is invisible at the moment. And you believe that when your company is at a stature, you will always be, known as a founder of that company, and that will eventually happen. But to be honest, you should invest in building yourselves for the simple reason that people do business with people.
Exactly.
Yes. So even if you are in a, say, a D2C brand, or even if you are in a B2C space, still, till the time you become a Tata, or till the time you become a Dabur, or till the time you
Mhm.
become any other known brand,
Mhm.
it is you who's driving the business, or it is you who's building the trust in the marketplace. So in my opinion, founders should invest in their personal brand for amplifying their credibility. They are credible. They are credible in the inner circle. They are
Mhm.
credible in their contact sphere. Hence, the business has started in the first
Exactly.
place. But are they investing in amplifying that credibility is something that they should start thinking from the start.
Okay.
Trust is a layer that gets built if the founder thinks of investing in their personal brand.
In themselves.
Yes.
Invest in themselves.
Yes.
Great, great.
So that is my message. I have seen founders investing ample amount of money in advertising, ample amount of money in performance marketing. I would say with full conviction that if you are doing personal branding alongside all of this, you will see a really amazing result in the turnaround time getting reduced.
Oh,
Because if I'm seeing your ad and I have known you
yes.
as a brand, you as a person, my trust is
Yeah.
instantaneous.
Trust factor is there.
Yes, yes.
Great, great. Very good.
Thank you.
So, Shweta, you just said about the founder's personal branding, right? Because
Mhm.
they are the face of the company, they should build their personal brand. What about the second line? How important it is for them also to build the personal brand?
Very important.
Oh,
Not because I am a personal branding consultant and coach, but honestly, they are important for the simple reason that they, if build their personal brand collectively, the founder in the second line of leadership is actually contributing to building their employer brand.
exactly.
You pay so much money to PR machinery for making your company visible, for making your leaders visible, so that your name as a brand, as a company becomes famous, or visible or credible, whatever. But then the best and the most trustworthy way of building is the authentic way. And the authentic way is if leaders are sharing their stories, sharing their journey, sharing their perspective, sharing their knowledge uh, via whatever is happening in their company. Obviously, if I'm reading their post, or CTO's post, or CIO's post, CEO's post, then I am invariably also reading the culture, reading the growth of the company in a very authentic way.
Yeah,
So,
completely agree.
the very underrated but very powerful way of building an employer brand is when the whole leadership intentionally starts building their presence on LinkedIn specifically, and not just have a LinkedIn company page where you just talk about happy Ganesh Chaturthi, happy this, we got this award, we got that award. Because see, as a follower of your company, when I'm looking at those posts, it's like good for you. What's in it for me?
Yeah.
So do I learn a thing or two? Do I see an opportunity to apply to this company?
Exactly.
So all those things are missing. So in my humble opinion, if any of your viewers who is a founder listening, or who actually has a second line of leadership identified, I truly believe that they should, start taking action
Invest
in terms,
in
yes, invest
second
in
line of leaders branding. Yeah, I also completely agree with you, because as we are into recruitment, so every company is having a company website, a LinkedIn page, or a Facebook page. But while a employee think about the company, founder always is the face of the company. He or she will be saying good. But if the other employees of the company are also sharing something, so that actually depict the culture of the company, and for them it's a very good recruitment magnet, talent magnet. What I feel, we have clients those who are doing that very planned and strategically. So for them recruitment is never a challenge. But there are companies those who don't understand even the importance of personal brand building. So there are struggle going on.
Yeah, so clients do come to me who are in the growth phase, who are looking at hiring key people in their company. So attracting talent is also something that is a function of this authentic employer branding.
Obviously.
Do I want to really work with this leader? That's a question that I would ask.
Yes.
And those questions get answered. So we have done leadership branding with some really known names. And what I've realized is companies have started investing in building their leadership branding.
Yeah, great. So we just discussed about the founders and the second line in the business.
Yes.
So, many times as we are into mid to senior level hiring, I have seen many employees, they are stuck at a very senior level. Either they are not able to grow, not getting the next promotion, or not getting a good opportunity. They have lost their job and not getting an opportunity. They are desperate at this stage. They are applying everywhere, not getting through. They have the CV. They have not invested anything in personal branding, and they want to start now. They don't have not having even LinkedIn profile. So they are creating a LinkedIn profile and starting now. So will it be possible, like if you are starting a LinkedIn profile suddenly and you are starting a job hunt at this point of time? So what kind of help they would be getting from LinkedIn? Because nowadays LinkedIn is a job search mechanism apart from all other portals, your referrals, everything. Many recruitment we do from LinkedIn. But if the job seeker is building the LinkedIn and immediately starting the job hunt, will it help?
Ideally, it will not.
Oh.
Ideally, when you're in the happy space, enjoying your job, that's the right time to start looking at building your solid LinkedIn presence.
Yes,
Many
yes.
people don't. So it's the, if I have to draw an analogy, Dipanvita, the analogy, right, is you're perfectly fit. So what is the need to go to the gym, or what is the need to follow a a discipline?
Yes.
But people who do get results, right? So my urge to all the leaders who are, say, at a VP level or above, there is less and less opportunities as you go above, and people who have amplified their credibility online have definitely better chances.
Okay.
Now, the challenge that I see when people come to me at that desperate situations, just like you narrated, the challenge is that they believed that if I talk about myself, it'll be it'll be taken in the wrong stride by companies whom I want to apply for, in the sense that I'm very narcissistic. I'm very, tom-tomming about my own journey, etc. And they have that presumption that personal branding is all about, self-loathing and self-praising, which is not true.
Yes.
Which is not true. Personal branding is intentionally sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the outside world, so that people understand the depth of your expertise.
Yes.
That's the
True.
only
Very true.
that's the only way to put it best. Now, I would say that even if you're not looking for a job opportunity at the moment, you believe everything is hunky-dory at your current organization and you have the best of the best probabilities. But treat personal branding as an insurance. You do buy insurance even if you know you're not going to die.
Yes.
It's a very poor analogy, but I will have to put it this way. That personal branding does... I've seen also, just to add up to here, is you start your journey on LinkedIn and you then realize that there are multiple entrepreneurial opportunities that have come your way, which you were not even citing. So many new doors also open.
Yes.
There's not one particular path that is remained with you. You may start with that intention, but then there is a lot of other things that evolve in that journey. So it's not... Personal branding is a journey, in my opinion.
So what I believe, you grow your network if you are actively posting on social media, and people get to know who you are,
As a
and they
person.
get to know the knowledge you have, it's not like show off, it's not like, saying yes, I am there, I am there. It's not like that. You have something to share. You are very knowledgeable person. Until or unless you share that, how people will know that who
So
you
that's
are
the
and
mistake
what
that
you
people
do.
are doing. So if you're not strategically doing it, Dipandita, what you do is you went to an event and you share, I spoke at that event. Now I'm looking at that post and I'm saying good for you and I'm moving ahead. Or maybe I'm amused, wow, he gets invited. But do I really connect with you? Do I really start following you because you are giving me something in return in terms of your wisdom? So if that is not happening, then obviously that credibility amplification is not happening. All that I'm saying is visibility.
Yes.
So honestly, trust and credibility is the new currency.
Yeah.
Visibility is a byproduct of that journey. So a 5,000 follower also, or a 50,000 or a 5 lakh follower also, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It is
What you are there to share, what is there to share actual.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
that's the thing. Great. Today we are living in a digital and AI era, right? So apart from the resume, what kind of judgment companies try to get about a candidate from his or her social presence? Their social presence, personal branding, social media posts, activities, everything they are doing, right? Companies getting their CV, their resume, but companies can see what they are doing. So what kind of judgment they make, what kind of information they can gather, and then they take the decision, right? So you are expert in this field, so you can give your thought and views.
So they do.
Yes.
They do. Definitely they do.
Uh-huh.
So if certain shortlisted resumes are lying on your on the company's desk, they definitely look it up. LinkedIn is the first place that they do go. Other social media channels also they look into. And hence, if you're a job seeker, it is all the more important for you to actually have an updated profile which projects powerfully, which represents correctly and authentically. What do I mean by this? I'll give you two examples.
Yes.
One lady, she approached us. She was laid off and she was struggling to find a job for almost 1.5 years, based out of US. Very senior profile. Now we start working on what is that she truly represents, and what we realized is digital transformation is her X factor, so to say. And we started working on, obviously updating the profile and what is it that she's looking for as an opportunity and why she's the right fit. Not asking for job, but basically talking about things that eventually got the attention. And I guess, if I'm not mistaken, in 6 months timeline, she was picked up, and she reported to us saying that they needed a digital transformation expert, and they saw that I am the digital transformation expert, and hence, I just got that opportunity. Even she didn't apply for it. I have another case. A very senior guy, unit head in textile industry, and we started working. And to be honest, at that point in time, I'm talking about 2021, we just did the profile updation, and he was like, I'm not right now keen on starting to write on LinkedIn about posts or anything. Just by sheer updation of the profile in a way that projects his core strength, which is business turnarounds. So he's like, you give me a dying business and I'll turn around. That's my strength.
Okay.
And he was picked up by one of the leading companies in India. And NDAs are in place, I can't name them. But a leading company in India picked him up for a business turnaround. From then, so when we started working together, that almost 5 years ago, he was a unit head, a plant head. From then to becoming a CEO, and now he's a JMD of a group company. Now, what I'm trying to say through this journey is that any job seeker, your resume may talk 50 things, but our what do people look in profile? Let me just expand this answer. What do people look in profile? The synergy, what your resume is saying, and what your profile is saying. If I have recommendations from the who's who, and all the recommendations are talking in sync, if there is synergy in what I am writing on the post and what I am saying on my profile, if there is synergy in what I have actually spoken in the interview and what is there on digital, so that reading between the lines build trust in me.
Yes. Trust
And
factor.
yes, also when I look for hiring for my company also, I realize that when I look at the profile, when I look at whatever is happening, I also read between the lines, is the person culture fit in my organization or not? So I am assuming most employers are also looking at that angle. So if you have like skip hop jumped jobs very often, then you're not someone who's reliable in a way. I'm okay with bringing in a talent for some time, I may choose you. But if I want someone to be with me for long, I may not choose you. So be very careful if you're a job seeker to intently build your personal brand, intently build your profile, if not personal brand, in a way that, as I said earlier, represents you truthfully, authentically, and have a powerful projection. Now, what happens is, I have seen leaders in their profile, they talk about what they do. They don't talk about what they can do. There is a big difference. There's a big difference in that. So if you only talk about what you can, what you do, till the time you come to the interview room, and that is a bigger hurdle, you getting that opportunity. I don't know what you can do.
Yes.
Okay, so the possibilities or the probabilities of getting a higher role or getting that particular leadership position is not there because you've never projected it.
Yes.
So I believe that these are things that a job seeker should take into consideration.
Yes. So opportunity would be more for them if they, are.
We can read too much. I've written ample amount of posts around it, that if you just look at where I'm reacting, which posts I'm liking,
yes,
I can read about the person's mindset a lot.
Yes.
A lot. If I'm receiving a DM and I'm looking at the profile, do I see the synergy? You go, and I can blatantly say, you go and check out 5 of my podcasts. Do I see anything different? Do I say anything different? Is my narration any different? If not, then instantly you will start trusting me. Right?
Yes.
So that's
it's a visibility, trust, and ultimately the decision
don't
making.
do it because recruitment wale ye keyword, yes, those things are very important. कि recruitment वाले ये keywords मांगते हैं, ये how do you make yourself searchable, how do you make yourself SEO optimized and all of that. These days it is AEO, not even SEO. But वो एक बात है. But are you actually able to connect with that HR leader or the recruitment head or the headhunters in senior cases who are actually looking out for a person like you?
Exactly.
So you lose out on opportunities, big opportunities, if you're not really portraying that.
Yes, completely agree. Because in our recruitment, our most of the searches first we do online.
Yes.
Then we look at the CV of the person. Senior leaders, if they are not visible online, it's very difficult to search them many a times, right?
That's precisely the point.
Nowadays, it's a mandatory thing for everybody to be it a job seeker, a senior leader, or a founder. So it's a mandatory thing that you should be present online and say to the world that who you are and what you can do for the world. Yeah, true. Nowadays I get to hear these two words very often. One is thought leadership, another is personal branding. So what is the difference between these two?
I'm glad you asked. So funnily enough, there's nothing called thought leadership.
Okay.
You share your thoughts consistently and people start following you and you become a thought leader. So when people write in their LinkedIn headlines thought leader,
yes.
I find it very amusing, because you can't pronounce yourself a thought leader.
Yes.
People should pronounce you thought leader, because if you're sharing your thoughts convincingly,
Mhm.
authentically, and people do relate with it, they find wisdom in that, then you become a thought leader. With respect to personal brand, there is a thin difference between a thought leadership led personal brand can be one, like for instance, you have Gaur Gopal Das, you have Vedanta CEO, Vedanta founder that I follow. You have many other founders who have been on social media sharing their thoughts. You really look up to them and read their posts, etc., to find pearls of wisdom. And that is, in my opinion, Steve Jobs, for that matter. Like, so these are thought leadership led personal brands. So you shared your thoughts, you became a thought leader, and you became a brand in that fashion. Now you also have personal brands who are influencer driven personal brands. You have personal brands who are basically famous. So one difference that I believe that these personal brands versus the thought leaders, obviously the thoughts are shared and people start following you, and you eventually become a brand. The others, on the contrary, are brands which are manufactured personal brands, in my opinion.
Okay.
So there's no definition that I have categorically what is the difference between personal brand and thought leadership. But I do believe that if you have to build a personal brand which is thought leadership led, it has more gravitas, it has more sustainable approach, it is more authentic.
Yes.
Now, one thing that I do believe is that every leader or every founder, for that matter, should think about thought leadership journey as their giving back journey. Whatever they have learned on the way, they've made their share of mistakes, they have learned everything, right? So if you are sharing it with the world, I am getting to learn through you. Okay, you're leaving a legacy in a way.
Yes.
And if you do that with that intent, then obviously the authenticity will come across. I will start relating with it, and I'll start following you on that lines. And to be honest, Dipanvita, thought leadership has nothing to do with age or years of experience. It has nothing to do with age or years of experience. Obviously, with age comes wisdom, comes maturity, comes experience, and it adds layer to that journey. But if you truly believe in something and you want to voice it out, and you have the substance to voice it out, then that is something which I would call a thought leadership led.
Okay.
You have heard these days there are so many young thought leaders as well.
Yes.
One of the examples that I can think of is definitely Nikhil Kamath. He's pretty young, and some may like his thoughts, some may not like his thoughts, but one thing is for sure, that he has built that thought leadership.
Yes.
And really, people who relate with him, people who relate with his thoughts are his followers. So all the thoughts that you're sharing as a thought leader does not necessarily relate with everyone, but you will build your own following.
And slowly, steadily, you become a voice of your industry. If you are a niche industry and you are sharing about that, or else if you are a generic thought leader, there would be people who would be your follower, there would be people who won't like it,
and
but
to be
people
honest, if you
understand what you are talking about. Yes.
And to be a thought leader, you have to be opinionated.
Yes.
To be a thought leader, you have to have your own views.
Yes.
To be a thought leader, you also have to voice wherever your opinion. You can't be a chocolate cake that everybody loves. That is not the way to become a thought leader. You have to take your stance. If I cannot follow you as a thought leader if you are having mixed opinions about things. I will only follow you if you are really from time to time having the same stand, same stance, same opinion about things. Then only I will believe that, okay, this is a person that I relate with, and this is a person that I want to follow.
Yes.
So opinionated individuals, people who have the courage to take a stand of what they stand for, are also these are the attributes that are needed to build thought leadership. You can't be a people pleaser, or you can't be play safe and try and become a thought leader. That does not happen.
Yes. Yep. Completely agree. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for sharing the views and clearing my doubt about these two things. So now I have few very small questions for you, like rapid fire round. I'll just read those questions out and you need to give answers only in one words. Okay?
I will try.
Okay. So followers or credibility?
Credibility any day.
Yes. Viral post or inbound client?
Inbound clients.
Okay. Consistency or creativity?
Creatively consistent.
Yeah, true. One LinkedIn myth you want to break immediately.
One LinkedIn myth. Anybody who is telling you that this is how LinkedIn algorithm works, nobody knows a shit.
Okay, yeah. One habit every founder should have.
Not become a micromanager.
Okay, so then you need to focus on your business and someone else is focusing your personal brand and everything.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. We're there for that.
Yeah. Okay, so complete this sentence. Your story is your
Truth.
Oh, great. So we are almost at the end of our podcast. So the listeners who are here with us today till this stage, so if someone is having, a question like, am I too late to start? So I need your advice in that, in two angles, right? One is career perspective. If someone is thinking I'm too late to start my career journey. Second one is the digital journey. So please go ahead.
So I'll ask another question to these listeners who are listening is, will it be late after 1 year? Will it be late after 2 years? Will it be late after 3 years? And you will be nodding yes, yes, yes. So the time is now. The time is always now.
Yes.
Otherwise,
always it would be late.
Always it is going to be late. Always it is going to be late. So my thing is, I'm a live example, and you will find, if you search, many more such inspiring examples who have started without thinking is it late or not. Whether it is building personal brand, whether it is starting a career, whether it is picking up a hobby.
Yes.
There's never later than now.
Yeah. Yes, great. You have just depicted it perfectly. So thank you so much for being a part of our podcast today. It really means a lot that you have shared your views, your journey, and everything you have learned in your journey as a personal brand.
I've learned so much from you.
So I hope the community to whom I am here to very much committed and creating all these podcasts, the company owners and so-called employers, as well as the job seekers, for them it should be a valuable, informative
I hope so.
podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here today. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please like, share and subscribe to DC Consultants YouTube channel for more such insightful podcast in future. I am Deepanvita Chattopadhyay, founder of DC Consultants. See you in the next podcast. Thank you so much.